Ethan Van Sciver was just in chat right now.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah. He was in here playing victim like he always does. He's like, oh, you made videos about me. You know, if
come on.
I don't want him on my channel, dude. Like, I seriously, like,
Oh.
he's not gonna do anything of value. He's gonna, you know, he can't engage honestly. He's literally incapable of it. He can't engage in facts. He can't, you know, he's just gonna play victim while talking shit on people that really have done no harm except for criticizing him.
Yeah.
You know, so it's I honestly think it's more harm than good to even entertain him on his field, because, you know, if you let him define the terms, as we saw with Taylor Talks Comics in that debate, Taylor did pretty well. But even whenever you make a solid point to Ethan and he's backed into a corner, he's gonna, like we talked about this, he's gonna use one of a few handful of tactics to avoid addressing things in an honest way. And at that point, I mean, I've seen enough of it. Like, I've seen it so many times that I don't think it's worth anybody's time to see it again. He makes too much money and has made too much money to ever back off of any of his positions. He will find a way to, even if I let him on here right now, because guaranteed, somebody, one of my hate watchers, saw us watching that video of that dude just now and went and did a tattletale, went and told Daddy that we were talking about him, and he jumped into defense mode, damage control mode, because he knows he's grifting these fucking people. He knows that he's not working on the comics that he's accepted hundreds of thousands of dollars for. And so he's got to do damage control, even on my little tiny channel, you know, because he's so fucking thin-skinned, but he still has to try and do some kind of damage control to make sure that people aren't seeing the reason that I'm speaking. And I don't want to play into it, because that really only benefits him. And he knows that his grift it's starting to go on the downslope. You know what I mean? Like, as far as Indiegogo is enacting policies to monitor the campaigns that they allow on their, you know, and how people market their campaigns, that is probably going to take a bite out of his bottom line. And then, let me show this, as a matter of fact. 1 second. All right, so this is a tweet from Ethan from yesterday. He's doing a poll on Twitter of which Comicsgater would you like to kick out of Comicsgate? Like, so they literally eat each other. They, you know, he has to stay on top of the shit heap. He has to, you know, so like, guarantee one of these people is probably threatening his, you know, his narrative, or they've just done something to kind of piss him off or whatever. And this is what happens. You either fall in line, or Ethan, top of the shit heap, is gonna fucking, you know, make you a sacrificial lamb. And he's not only doing that to get rid of what his perceived enemy, but it also riles up his base. They love blood sports. They love the idea of, oh, this person said the wrong thing. They did wrong think against Comicsgate and Ethan. So, you know, we got to get rid of them. Like, who the fuck acts like this, man? Who the fuck does this except a really insecure, narcissistic, fucking power mad grifter? Like, and then
so who'd you vote for, Dane?
I didn't vote for it. I didn't see this as it was. I just saw a screenshot. I didn't even see the, you know, because I've got him blocked now, because, you know, as he doesn't like to address this. He likes to, of course, this is another example of him distorting facts and how things happen for his benefit. He blocked me on Twitter over a year ago because I retweeted him and said something. It wasn't insulting. It wasn't like calling him names or bullying. I just mentioned something factual about him being deceptive or whatever, and he blocked me. And then, of course, and then he would still show up in my comments on my YouTube channel every once in a while. And at first I was like, whatever, just let him, I'll let him, you know, if that makes him feel good, he can be in my comments. And then eventually I was like, you know what? This motherfucker blocked me on Twitter. Why should I let him be on my YouTube channel? And so I blocked him. I honestly don't know how he showed up in my chat. I guess it doesn't work the same way with chat as it does with the comment section. I don't know, but
probably.
Yeah. So if that's what I'm saying. Like if you let him dictate the terms, he's gonna just, you know, manipulate those terms to his benefit. So, and then whenever I eventually blocked him, so okay, so after the Taylor, or right before the Taylor debate, you know, we were tweeting about it, me and Taylor. Ethan unblocked me on Twitter so that he could talk shit after he'd had me blocked for over a year. And then I blocked him. And then he started calling me a coward, pussy, bitch, coward because I blocked him. You see what I'm saying? Like, there is no consistency to anything that he says or does, because he will, you know, fucking distort events and facts. And you know, if he needs to be on this side of an issue, or you know, if he needs to think that it's cowardice to block someone in this moment, but he thinks it's going to benefit him to block someone in another moment, that's what he's going to do.
Yeah.
And you know, if you want to reach out to him, dude, and you want to get him, you know, send him an email, I don't know, you know, and tell him that you'd like to debate with me as moderator or something like that, then we can do that. But you know, the dude didn't even want me. He flat out said he didn't even want me fact checking his debate with Taylor. When he found out that I was going to be streaming the debate on my own channel, he fucking flipped out and was like, I got the screenshots from him talking to Taylor in DMs, and he was like lying, saying that I called him the F slur, which, as you know, I didn't do that. He was lying, saying that I threatened to beat up Richard Meyer, which I didn't do that. So yeah, it's so dishonest as to be, you know, honestly, I think he's got narcissistic personality disorder, period. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Let's look at a list of the traits of that here. Narcissistic personality disorder, or narcissism, is a personality disorder characterized by a sense of grandiosity, the need for attention and admiration, superficial interpersonal relationships, and a lack of empathy. Sound familiar?
Hey, no Michael Bay jokes. Stop.
Oh, all right. So yeah, it was really about Michael Bay. 9 signs and symptoms. Exaggerated sense of self-importance. Feeling superior to others, and that one deserves special treatment, which that speaks to what I was just saying, is that like he thinks he can block you when it's inconvenient for him to have you talking about him. But then if you block him, you're a coward, bitch, pussy, coward, cunt, twat, whatever. So that he deserves special treatment. Another example is the thing with Jay Oliva from a few weeks ago, the Warner Brothers storyboard artist, who made a mild dunk on Ethan on Twitter. It was like, oh, look, it's the robot toad guy or whatever. Like, you know, he's still around. It's like this the mildest fucking dunk. And Ethan started tagging Warner Brothers in DC in tweets and saying, you know, oh, your employees said a mean thing about me, which is why I started calling him Karen Van Sciver. And now this is a guy who has made his secondary career, because he destroyed his first career as a professional comics artist by just being a dipshit. But he's built his secondary career as talking shit on people nonstop. You got endless 4-hour streams on his channel where all he does is talk shit on people in very hostile and sometimes bigoted ways, right? But when Jay Oliva says one mild thing about him on Twitter, he's like, oh, he said a mean thing. So that's special treatment. He thinks he deserves special treatment, that he can say whatever he wants, but anybody that says anything about him, he's going to show up in their comment section. He's going to show up in their chat, being a whiny little victim bitch. Yeah. Feelings are often accompanied by fantasies of unlimited success, brilliance, power, beauty, or love. I mean, am I off base? Let me know if you think I'm off base with any of this. Like, do you think that any of this
so far all this is hitting? So far all this is hail Ethan.
Must be the center of attention. Let's go back to this this image here. Whereas, like, you know, these are other people who are somewhat notable figures, I guess. I haven't heard of these last two.
You haven't heard of Sketch the Rapey?
I'm sorry, I'm not up on the Sketch the Rapey fucking discourse.
He has a killer Twitter account.
Okay, yeah, I bet it's sketchy and rapey. But yeah, so like that's an example of him wanting to be on top and be the center of attention. He's controlling the optics of Comicsgate and the figures involved, so that he's, by being the guy that puts out a poll asking who would you kick out, that's establishing himself as the dominant figure.
Yeah.
Or reestablishing it, because clearly he already is. He's the dominant figure of Comicsgate. But like every once in a while, you got to do a move like that, polls, to make sure that everybody knows. You know what I mean? It's like executing the court jester, like the king. You know what I mean? Executing the jester, just to be like, I can do this because I'm the king.
You should have tweeted at him as soon as you saw that, like, hey, did Preston approve of this? Because he's the owner of Comicsgate.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I also don't.
This by? Yeah.
I also don't care about Preston though. So
yeah, but that'll irk him.
I'm trying to figure out why fucking taskbar won't go away. Really bothers my OCD when my taskbar won't go away. Oh, I see what it is.
Debbie Lewis. Okay, we'll show that, Debbie. Debbie Lewis is always with these hot takes that you gotta like approve of. Debbie.
What's up?
No, Debbie Lewis, like, it's constantly asking, should we show this comment? Should we show this comment for every comment of Debbie Lewis? I was like, Debbie Lewis is very edgy. Ethan Van Scumbag is the dominant Karen of Comicsgate. No wonder other comic artists hate him.
And not just other comic artists, like pretty much everybody who's an actual professional in the comics industry, it knows that he's a scumbag and to either be avoided or called out.
As you've said before, how can anyone go after Gail Simone when she's like the sweetest person from Twitter? I'm gathering. I don't know her personally, but she seems like a very nice person. And to go after her the way he did was very disgusting.
And by the way, I guarantee if Ethan's not watching right now, maybe he's even streaming this, but he's gonna go and distort and say that I'm a coward because I blocked him from and it's like, why don't you apply that same standard to your Twitter account, Ethan? Remember you banned me over a year. I mean, you blocked me over a year ago, but you like to ignore that fact. But I'm a coward for not wanting you in my YouTube channel, being dishonest and being disingenuous and playing the fucking victim, even though you're on fucking Kiwi farms hanging out with people that dox people and shit like that. I found out last night that I've got a thread on Kiwi farms.
Oh, Ethan.
I'm not saying that's Ethan. I don't want to say that. Okay. I'm not. I have no evidence of that, but I do have a thread on Kiwi farms, which I take as a badge of honor. And if they want to make fun of me and pretend they have some kind of power over me and whatever, they can do that. I'm sure they're trying to dox me. I'm sure they all of those things that they love to do because it makes them feel like big, strong boys. Often monopolizes conversations. You watched that Taylor debate, right?
Yep.
Do you think that applies?
Absolutely. He did the whole, I don't want to talk about that, or he would change the subject whenever Taylor brought up a good point. He's actually very good at that because he makes it seem like,
oh yeah, dude. Like, I mean,
he's good at pivoting for sure.
As I said in my video a while back, there's two skills that Ethan has that I can never hope to have, nowhere near as good as he has. This is the biggest compliment I'll give the guy. He's a really good artist. The style isn't necessarily my preferred style. It is kind of middle of the road. Like you would be hard pressed if you showed me some art of his that I haven't seen and put it with some other artists, like art that I haven't seen before. Like I might not be able to pick it out of a lineup kind of thing, but it is technically skilled, right? And then debating, in the sense that if you think of debate as not trying to have an honest engagement, but like optically trying to win, he's very good at that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Feels slighted, mistreated, depleted, and enraged when ignored. So I
I think
imagine
so.
I imagine after I just blocked him, he's probably feeling pretty. He's probably seething. Um, let's see. The superficial exploitative relationships. Relationships are based on surface attributes and not the unique qualities of others. Now, I
Yeah.
wonder, that poll that we
Show that
looked at.
poll again. Yeah,
Yeah,
show that poll
exactly.
again.
Like, are those people that did they consider them, him friends? How many friends and members of Comicsgate has he thrown under the bus and sent people to fucking attack because they, I don't know, said something opposing to Ethan's point of view or that might affect his bottom line? Probably. It's happened a lot. It's happened a lot. Let's see. People are only valued to the extent that they're viewed as beneficial.
Ooh, show that poll again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like here's a literal poll to take a measure of how valuable these members of Comicsgate are. Let's see. Lack of empathy. Severely limited or totally lacking ability to care about the emotional needs or experiences of others, even loved ones. I'm not going to speak to his personal life and the loved
Yeah.
ones part because I don't know about it. From what I understand, he's had some problems in his marriage in the past, but who hasn't? Like, I mean, the divorce rates are so high that it would be pretty unfair for me to use that as evidence that he's like a shitty person because most people get divorced these days. That's why I don't get married. But yeah, let's see. Identity disturbance. Sense of self is highly superficial, extremely rigid, and often fragile. Yeah. And I mean, he's not going to see it this way, like, because he's convinced that the way he behaves and the way he responds to any slight criticism is justified and warranted because he sees himself as a victim. He may not, like he feels like a victim. I'm sure he doesn't consciously see himself as a victim, but he acts like a victim all the time. Meanwhile, he's victimizing others. Self-stability depends on maintaining the view that one is exceptional. In order to feel, like a valid person, he's got to maintain this self-perception that everybody loves him. And if somebody, for instance, me, is criticizing him or calling him out on, pretty obvious bad fucking antisocial behavior, he can't handle it. He can't handle it. Grandiose sense of self is now he portrays that he depicts himself as someone who is standing up for his rights and like, oh, you can't say this about me, you're being dishonest and stuff like that, when internally it's about maintaining that feeling that he is special and how dare anybody, because the narcissists, their egos are very fragile. Everything that a narcissist does is to create an armor around that fragile ego. Grandiose sense of self is easily threatened. Patients retreat from or deny realities that challenge grandiosity. Let's say, keep saying patients because that's what it's a medical thing, but he's not a patient. I mean, like, I doubt he would ever seek treatment for this stuff, but he really should. Ethan, you should seek treatment, dude. Really. And I'm not even like trying to be insulting or pithy or fucking dunk on you, but like you're not well, dude. You're not well. All right. Relies on feedback from the environment, which, people literally pay him hundreds of dollars in super chats to validate him.
I'll take some of that.
Relationships. What?
I'll take $100 to feel validated for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's a good fucking job, dude. Like, I mean, why would you draw comic books when you have people sending you $100 just to say you're awesome?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you know what? I'll give him credit. That's a pretty good gig, dude. That is a good
That is
gig.
awesome.
Now,
it's like my friend once told me, if you're gonna, like, New Year's resolution, the key to, like, a lot of people have I'm gonna lose weight, I'm gonna go to the gym. The key to doing that is you can't tell anyone. You just got to do it. Because the minute you tell someone, yeah, I'm going to go to the gym, you already get that that positive reinforcement. Hey, good for you, man. That's awesome. That's great. You already got that fill. So then you don't end up doing it because you got what you wanted out of it, which is to feel good, right? And maybe there's something like that going on here.
Maybe.
It's like, I don't need to do the comics. I'm feeling good right now. Everyone's saying the comics are already awesome and I haven't even released them.
Exactly. Yeah. Your comics are going to be so good when you put them out in 5 years. Yeah. Let's see. Interactions are superficial. Yeah. From what I've seen, that's pretty fair. In the sense that he doesn't actually share any kind of emotions. And if and whenever he does, they're usually performative and in order to portray himself a certain way, meanwhile minimizing any emotions of others.
Mm-hmm.
If someone that he doesn't like or criticizes him has any feelings, they're just weak and they're pussies, they're gay or whatever the fuck. But if he's got feelings, like he feels hurt by someone criticizing him, that's supposed to be taken seriously. Intimacy is avoided. I can't really speak to that. Mm-hmm. I really honestly hate to think of the idea of him being intimate with anybody. That's kind of gross. Chronic feelings of emptiness and boredom. I'm not inside the guy's head, thankfully, but yeah, I can't really speak to that. Vulnerable to life transitions. Difficulty maintaining reality-based personal and professional goals over time. Well, thinking about that video we watched a little while ago, it does seem like he has difficulty maintaining his professional goals. Mm-hmm. That being getting the comics that he promises that people pay for out on time.
Now I'm not sure. Has he delivered any comics since the Comicsgate thing, since leaving? Not a single.
Yeah.
No,
he's delivered comics. Yeah, he's just like
okay.
So I think he's on like the 3rd or 4th iteration of Cyberfrog. I might be mistaken on that if anybody in chat knows, but like, yeah, the first couple of Cyberfrog comics that he's done, yeah, but I'm willing to bet that they weren't out on their promised date. But hey, that happens in crowdfunding projects all the time.
Yeah. It's only going to get worse too. It seems like he just lost the motivation, right? He's just like, all right, I got the 2 out there. I could coast for a little bit. Seeing how nice the coasting feels, it's like, all right, whatever, I'm over it. Because, I think one of the most annoying thing about like something like Kickstarter, all that stuff is like, you do a lot of promises because you don't think you're going to get that goal, right? That seems to be the problem with a lot of these failed campaigns is like they don't think they're going to get that goal. And the minute they do get that goal and you actually have to put work into fulfilling the campaign promises, that is really frustrating, really annoying, really like, oh, I can't believe we promised that. I can't believe we did that. And we have to be stuck here, and you just don't want to do it. And I think seems like he's reached that point where it's like, oh, fuck, I don't want to do it. I don't need to do it.